Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are cracking open the Master Vault on a book that gives you what can only be described as a real-world, psychological superpower. Imagine walking into a high-stakes business negotiation, a first date, or a casual conversation with your friends, and being able to look directly past the words coming out of their mouths to see exactly what they are thinking, feeling, and hiding on the inside. Most people move through their lives completely blind to the mountain of hidden signals, micro-expressions, and psychological markers that every single human being constantly broadcasts into the world. They listen only to the spoken words, completely unaware that language is often used to mask a person's true intentions, fears, and motivations. We are diving deep into a massive, immersive story breakdown of How to Read Someone's Mind by Miles Carter. This video is not about cheap parlor tricks or mystical mind-reading acts. It is a profound exploration of deep human psychology, nonverbal communication, and behavioral analysis, designed to transform how you interact with every single person in your reality. Miles Carter is a master of human behavioral science who has spent decades breaking down the precise mechanisms of cognitive awareness and physical expression. He discovered that our conscious mind can only control a tiny fraction of our behavioral output. While someone might carefully craft a spoken sentence to sound confident, honest, or agreeable, their autonomous nervous system, their eye movements, their vocal pacing, and their physical posture are simultaneously telling the absolute truth about their internal reality. Get incredibly comfortable. Grab your favorite notebook, eliminate all distractions, and let us discover how to master the art of deep behavioral decoding so you can walk into any room and understand exactly what is happening under the surface. Part 1. The Architecture of the Subconscious Broadcast. Let us start our story by looking at the foundational psychological framework that makes reading minds fully possible in the real world. Carter explains that the human brain is constantly caught in a fierce, silent tug-of-war between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is slow, analytical, and highly deliberate. It is the part of the brain that allows someone to plan a speech, craft a lie, or present a highly polished version of themselves to society. The subconscious mind, however, is a fast, instinctual survival engine that operates completely on autopilot. It controls your heart rate, your breathing, your emotional spikes, and your physical reflex reactions. Here is the massive breakthrough of the book. The subconscious mind cannot easily remain hidden. Every time a person experiences an internal emotion, whether it is a flash of anxiety, a surge of attraction, a hidden irritation, or a calculated lie, that internal shift triggers an immediate, automated, physical response that bleeds out into their body. Carter calls this phenomenon the subconscious broadcast. Most people fail to see the broadcast because they suffer from conversational narcissism. They are so busy thinking about what they are going to say next, worrying about how they look, or checking their phones, that they miss 90% of the data being presented right in front of them. To become a master decoder, you must first train yourself to step out of your own head and become an active observer of human data. You must realize that every twitch of a finger, every shift in foot direction, and every change in vocal pitch is a clear window into the soul. Part 2. The Golden Rule of Baseline Analysis. Now that we understand that everyone is constantly broadcasting their thoughts, how do you avoid making massive mistakes when reading people? Carter introduces an absolute rule that serves as the bedrock of accurate behavioral analysis, the practice of baseline analysis. Imagine you are sitting across from a potential business partner, and during a critical question about their financial history, they suddenly cross their arms tightly across their chest and look down at the floor. An amateur observer who has watched a few superficial body language videos might immediately jump to a conclusion and declare that the partner is being defensive, dishonest, or untrustworthy. But Carter warns that jumping to conclusions without a baseline is a dangerous trap that leads to massive interpersonal errors. Crossed arms can mean many different things. The person might simply be physically cold. They might have a sore back. Or crossing their arms could just be their natural, comfortable sitting posture. To read minds accurately, you must always establish a person's baseline behavior within the first few minutes of a casual, low-stakes interaction. Watch how they move, sit, laugh, and speak when they are completely relaxed and under zero pressure. Notice their natural blinking rate, their standard vocal volume, their typical hand gestures, and how often they maintain eye contact. Once you map out their normal baseline state, you look for sudden changes or clusters of behavior that happen precisely when the topic shifts to a high-stakes issue. It is the deviation from the baseline that reveals the hidden thought, not the isolated gesture itself. Part 3. The Ocular Blueprint and the Secrets of the Eyes. Our story now moves into what is widely considered the hardest part of the human body to consciously manipulate, the human eyes. There is an ancient proverb stating that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and modern cognitive science completely backs this up. The pathways connecting your emotional brain to the muscles surrounding your eyes are incredibly direct and almost impossible to override through conscious willpower. Carter provides an explicit blueprint for decoding eye movements, drawing heavily on behavioral patterns and neuro-linguistic principles. Let us look closely at how the direction of a person's gaze reveals their internal cognitive processing. When you ask someone a question that requires them to remember a real fact from their past, their eyes will naturally dart upward and to their right side. This movement indicates that the brain is actively tapping into its visual memory banks to pull forward a genuine image of a past event. Conversely, if you ask someone a question and their eyes move upward and to their left side, the brain is engaging its visual construction centers. This means they are not remembering a past fact. They are literally building a brand new image out of nothing inside their imagination. If you ask a colleague where they were yesterday afternoon, and their eyes instantly move up and to the left before they tell you they were working diligently at their desk, you have just witnessed their brain actively constructing an alternative reality. Beyond eye direction, you must master the tracking of pupil dilation. Your pupils are governed entirely by your autonomic nervous system, making them completely immune to fake manipulation. When a person looks at something or someone they deeply desire, love, or find highly valuable, Their pupils will instantly expand and dilate. When they encounter something they find repulsive, boring, or threatening, their pupils will contract to a narrow point. By paying attention to these microscopic ocular shifts, you gain an unfair advantage in reading the silent preferences of the room. Part 4. Decoding the micro-expressions of the face. Let us dive into the world of micro-expressions, a concept made famous by pioneering psychological research and beautifully weaponized in Carter's Manual. A micro-expression is an incredibly fast, involuntary facial flash that occurs when a person attempts to suppress a powerful emotion. These flashes last for only a tiny fraction of a second, but they reveal the absolute truth before the conscious mind can put on its social mask. Think about the emotion of contempt, which is one of the most destructive hidden feelings in human relationships and business partnerships. Contempt is marked by a look of moral superiority, disrespect, and deep dislike. The micro-expression for contempt is highly distinct. It is a slight, single-sided tightening and lifting of the corner of the mouth, forming an asymmetrical half-smile or sneer. If you present a new project proposal to your manager, and they loudly declare that they love your creativity, but you catch a microsecond flash of that single-sided mouth lift, do not believe their spoken words. Their subconscious has just broadcasted that they actually look down on your idea or question your competence. Another vital expression to master is the difference between a real smile and a fake social smile. A real smile, known as a Duchenne smile, is triggered by deep internal joy and involves the involuntary contraction of the muscles around the eyes, creating natural crow's feet, wrinkles, and lowering the eyebrows slightly. A fake social smile only utilizes the muscles around the mouth, pulling the lips back, while leaving the eyes completely dead, flat, and unengaged. By training your eyes to spot these rapid facial truths, you can navigate social minefields with supreme precision, avoiding hidden enemies and aligning yourself with authentic allies. Part 5. The Spatial Map and Proxemics of Comfort. Our narrative now shifts from the face down to the physical landscape of space and proximity, a domain of study known as proxemics. Carter explains that every single human being moves through the world surrounded by an invisible, highly guarded, psychological bubble of personal space. The size of this bubble shifts constantly based on a person's cultural background, emotional comfort level, and feelings of safety around others. Pay close attention to physical distance as a measure of emotional warmth. The warmer and more positive a person's hidden feelings are toward you, the closer they will naturally allow you to get to their physical frame without triggering an alert reaction. If you step slightly closer to someone during a chat, and they instinctively take a subtle step backward or angle their torso away from you, their subconscious is sending a clear message that they currently feel uncomfortable, guarded, or socially pressured by your presence. Furthermore, you must analyze the orientation of a person's feet, a concept Carter calls the foot marker. When people are engaged in a conversation, they will naturally point their toes toward the person they find most interesting, powerful, or attractive in the group. Imagine you walk up to two colleagues who are deep in conversation. They turn their heads toward you, smile warmly, and greet you politely. But if you look down and notice that their feet are still pointing directly at each other, or if one of them has their feet angled toward the exit door, their body is revealing that their true interest remains locked in their original chat, or they are eager to leave the space. Their words are being polite, but their feet are telling you exactly where their mind truly wants to go. Part 6. The Defensiveness Barriers and Mirroring Dynamics. Let us look at a major behavioral pattern that dictates how receptive someone is to your ideas and persuasion. Attempts. The presence of physical barriers and the dance of behavioral mirroring. Carter notes that when a human being feels psychologically threatened, insecure, or resistant to an idea, they will subconsciously build a physical wall between themselves and the source of their discomfort. This barrier can manifest as crossing their arms tightly across their chest, crossing their legs away from you, or holding an object like a coffee cup, a laptop, or a clipboard tightly against their torso like a protective shield. When you see these barrier behaviors flare up during a discussion, it is a clear sign that you are losing the room. If you continue pushing your argument aggressively while they are locked behind a barrier, their internal resistance will only harden into absolute rejection. To break down these walls and unlock their mind, you must strategically use the power of behavioral mirroring. Mirroring is an ancient mammalian bonding mechanism where we naturally copy the posture, gestures, pacing, and vocal tone of the people we like, respect, and trust. If you want to quickly build deep psychological comfort with someone, subtly match their physical alignment. If they sit back and cross their ankles, wait 30 seconds and calmly sit back and cross your ankles. If they speak using a quiet, measured vocal volume, drop your volume to match theirs perfectly. This sends a subconscious signal to their brain that you are part of their tribe, making them feel secure enough to drop their physical barriers, open up their posture, and welcome your thoughts with open arms. Part 7. Spotting Deception Through Cognitive Overload. The ultimate application of reading someone's mind is the ability to spot a calculated lie with absolute certainty. Carter dedicates a massive section of his framework to dismantling the common myths surrounding lie detection. Most people think that liars always look away, sweat profusely, or stutter nervously. But sophisticated liars know these stereotypes and will intentionally look you dead in the eye and speak with a highly practiced calmness to trick you. To catch a master liar, you must look for the signs of cognitive overload, fabricating a lie, maintaining that fiction in your head, checking to see if the listener believes it, and controlling your physical body language all require a massive amount of mental processing power. When the brain is operating under cognitive overload, it inevitably drops its guard in other subtle ways. Watch for the vocal markers of a lie. A person under cognitive stress will often experience a sudden spike in their vocal pitch because the muscles surrounding their vocal cords tighten up automatically under fear. They may also display a significant delay in their response time when asked for minor details. Or they will offer way too much unprompted, hyper-detailed data to try to make their story sound believable. Look also for the classic grooming and pacifying behaviors that happen immediately after a lie is spoken. The subconscious mind wants to soothe the stress of the lie, forcing the person to touch their neck, rub their nose, play with their hair, adjust their collar, or swallow hard due to a sudden dry mouth. When you spot a cluster of these pacifying signals happening right after a deviation from their natural baseline behavior, you have successfully decoded a lie and looked directly into the hidden truth of their mind. Part 8. The Roadmap to Becoming an Elite Human Decoder. As our epic journey through the deep strategies of Miles Carter reaches its final destination, remember this fundamental truth. The ability to read someone's mind is not about manipulating people, playing dirty mind games, or judging everyone you meet through a lens of paranoia. True mastery of behavioral analysis is the ultimate act of empathy and supreme emotional intelligence. When you learn to read the silent language of the human body, you stop being a victim of social confusion and deceit. You gain the rare power to look past the masks of society and see the real human beings sitting across from you, with all their hidden fears, unexpressed desires, and unspoken truths. Stop moving through your life, blind to the subconscious broadcast of the world. Stop letting calculated lies derail your career. Stop missing the subtle signs of attraction and comfort in your relationships. And stop ignoring the baseline data of reality. Step into your authentic, personal sovereignty today. Train yourself to establish a baseline for every person you meet. Watch the ocular movements to see how their brain processes data. Spot the rapid, micro-expressions of the face. Read the spatial maps and foot markers of comfort. Look for defensive barriers and decode the subtle signs of cognitive overload to protect your world from deception. When you possess the unshakable discipline to master these unwritten laws of human behavior, you unlock the absolute golden key to interpersonal influence. The illusions of social anxiety will fade away entirely. You will command premium authority in your career negotiations. Build deep partnerships built on absolute authenticity and trust. Protect your personal life from toxic elements and discover that your presence has become an unmatched, powerful beacon of psychological clarity and lasting success. What is the #1 behavioral decoding technique from this mind-reading masterclass? Whether it is establishing a clear baseline before judging a gesture, tracking ocular eye movements, or watching the direction of foot markers that you are going to commit to practicing during your very next interaction today. Let me know your behavioral goals in the comments down below. If this deep dive summary completely opened your eyes and handed you an elite architectural playbook for reading human intentions, show some incredible support by clicking that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another profound psychology, communication, or leadership book breakdown. And share this video with a friend who wants to level up their social awareness today. Observe the baseline, decode the subconscious broadcast, read the hidden truths, and I will see you in the next video.